It's 5 a.m. The alarm goes off, and you're already thinking about everything you need to get done today. You've been doing this for years, waking up early, working hard, pushing through. So why does it still feel like nothing is actually changing? Every day, millions of people rush out the door carrying the weight of their responsibilities. They hustle, they grind, they give everything they have to their work. But for so many, the finish line keeps moving further away. You show up, you do your job, you stay late when needed. By all measures, you're doing everything right. But here's the thing, doing everything right doesn't always get you where you want to go anymore. Month after month, year after year, the calendar fills up with crossed-out days, time spent working, producing, delivering. And yet, the bank account tells a different story. What is actually going on here? This is the moment most people know well. Completely drained, buried under work, running on coffee and willpower. The pile never shrinks, the effort never stops, but the reward? That part stays frustratingly small. There's a name for this feeling. It is called the productivity trap. You work harder, you produce more, you speed up, but somehow you end up right back where you started, like a hamster on a wheel. You check your wallet at the end of the month and wonder where it all went. You worked, you earned, but housing costs, bills, groceries, they all took their share before you even had a chance to save or invest. Here's one of the most painful realities of modern work life. The cost of living keeps climbing, but for many people, their salary has barely budged. You are not imagining it. The numbers really are working against you. Calls about bills, stress about rent, side hustles just to keep up. This is not a motivation problem. This is not a work harder problem. Something deeper is broken, and today we are going to talk about exactly what that is. You have probably heard two kinds of advice your whole life: work harder, and separately, get rich. But nobody told you why those two roads are not pointing in the same direction anymore. Let's fix that. To understand where we are, we need to take a quick look at where things used to be, because for a long time, the rules were different, and they actually worked. For generations, hard work was the path. You showed up, put in the hours, learned the trade, and the reward followed. The system was built around labor, and labor was respected and compensated. It made sense. Work more, earn more. Get promoted, earn more. Stay loyal, build stability. Wages climbed. A home felt within reach. The future felt predictable. That was the deal. But somewhere along the way, that deal changed. The line went flat. Wages stopped following productivity. People kept working harder, but the financial reward stopped keeping pace. And so, people responded the only way they knew how. They saved what they could, one coin at a time. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving alone, when costs are rising faster than income, is not enough to build real wealth. Think about where your income actually goes. Before you can even think about investing or saving for your future, rent, food, transport, and bills have already taken most of it. This is not your fault. This is the math. Here's the core problem with trading time for money. You only have 24 hours in a day. That's the hard ceiling. And once you hit it, once you're already working as many hours as a human being can sustain, there's nowhere left to go. The balance is always going to be tipped against you if the only thing on your side of the scale is hours. Time is finite, and a finite resource can only earn a finite income. No matter how hard you work, the scale will not tip past a certain point. So you climb. You get the certification, the promotion, the raise. You work your way up a ladder, and for a while it feels like real progress. You feel the momentum. You believe the ceiling is still far away. And then, one day, you hit it. The income ceiling. The place where more effort doesn't translate into more money. Where the job title goes no higher. Where the raises stop coming. This is where millions of hardworking people get stuck and stay stuck.
Here is something that makes this even more frustrating. In many industries, productivity has gone up dramatically over the past few decades. People are producing more per hour than ever before, but their pay has not kept up. The effort column is tall. The pay column is short. And here is the efficiency paradox that nobody warns you about. The more efficient you become, the more tasks you get assigned. Finish your work faster? Great. Here's more work. You become better at a machine that just keeps feeding you more to do. Completing tasks does not reduce your workload. It simply signals that you have capacity for more tasks. The pile never disappears. It just refreshes. This is why getting more done at work rarely leads to getting more money in your pocket. Here is another piece of the puzzle that is rarely spoken about directly. When you work hard inside a company, your effort is creating value, but most of that value flows upward to shareholders, to executives, to the people who own the system you are working inside. Your effort built the building, but someone else owns the building. Your productivity grows the company, but someone else owns the company. Hard work is real and it matters, but it is building equity for someone who is not you. And even when you do get a raise, inflation quietly takes a slice of it. The number on your paycheck might go up, but the purchasing power of that number often does not. Your salary grows, but your wallet does not feel it. This is one of the most important charts you will never see in school. Productivity, meaning how much output workers produce, has soared. Wages, meaning what workers are paid, have barely moved in real terms. The gap between those two lines is where your financial stress lives. And it gets more complicated. Many people spent years doing everything they were told was the right path. They got the degree, they got the certification, they built experience, and then they discovered it was not enough to break through. Because the key you were given, years of experience, hard work, loyalty, does not open the door it used to. The lock has changed, and using the same key harder does not help. You need a different key entirely. But here's where things get interesting and hopeful. Once you understand why the old system has stopped working, you can start to see what actually does work. And the shift that needs to happen starts with a single realization. There are two very different ways to build a financial life. One is through labor, trading your time and energy for money. The other is through ownership, earning returns from things you own, not just things you do. These two paths lead to very different destinations. Ownership does not have to mean a mansion or a massive investment portfolio. It can start with one share in a company, one digital product, one small piece of property. The point is that you stop purely renting out your time and start owning something that works for you. Imagine sitting in a chair while a system you built or invested in continues to generate income in the background without you constantly feeding it energy. That is what scalable income looks like. The income does not stop when you do. This is the fundamental difference between scalable income and time-based income. When you own a system, a business, an investment, a digital product, it can grow beyond the hours you personally put in. It's not capped by your energy. And with modern technology, the barrier to building scalable income has never been lower. The tools are accessible. The platforms are there. The question is not whether you can do it. It's whether you will redirect your effort toward it.
Investing is often described as making your money work for you. But a simpler way to think about it is this. You are planting a tree today that will grow leaves. Those leaves are future returns that compound over time, even while you sleep. A salary that stays flat while inflation rises means you are slowly losing ground every year. An investment portfolio that grows over time means you are gaining ground even while you sleep. These are two completely different financial trajectories. Inflation is one of the silent destroyers of financial progress for wage earners. Every year your money sits still, its purchasing power shrinks. The best protection against inflation is not working more hours, it is putting your money into assets that grow faster than inflation does. One of the highest leverage moves you can make is developing a skill that is genuinely rare and genuinely valuable. Not just being good at your job, but mastering something that few others can do and that the market is hungry for. High-income skills are the bridge between where most people are and where they want to be. Skills like selling, coding, writing, designing, or consulting can create income opportunities that simply are not available to most traditional roles. The sweet spot is where a skill is rare and in high demand. That overlapping zone is where your income stops being capped by your employer's budget and starts being driven by the market's willingness to pay for what you uniquely bring. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is audit your own time.
Look honestly at where your hours go each day and cross out everything that does not directly move you toward your financial goals or your high-impact work. 8 hours of scattered, reactive busyness produces far less real value than 3 focused hours on work that actually matters. The person who works 3 deeply focused hours on the right things will outperform the person who grinds all day on the wrong ones. Blocking time for focused, high-value work is not a luxury, it is a strategy. Put it on your calendar, protect it, treat it as non-negotiable. Those focused hours are where real progress gets made. When your assets are working for you, when your investments are growing, your digital products are selling, your business is running, you can step back and breathe. This is not laziness. This is the goal of smart financial design. Every coin you send into an asset instead of a liability is a step in the right direction. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. Small, regular investments compound into serious wealth over time. The bar of things I own can start at 0 and grow, one purchase at a time, one investment at a time, one skill monetized at a time. The direction matters far more than the starting size. Stepping off the treadmill is not about quitting or giving up. It's about recognizing that the treadmill was never taking you anywhere meaningful and consciously choosing a direction that actually leads somewhere. 2 roads. One is familiar, long, and exhausting, the road of selling your time forever. The other is harder at first, but it points upward, the road of building systems, skills, and ownership. Which road you take will define the next decade of your financial life. The formula is actually simple, even if the execution takes patience. Build a system or own an asset. That system produces value. That value creates growth. Repeat. This loop is how wealth actually compounds over time. The mental shift from producer to owner is the most important one you can make. It does not mean you stop working. It means the work you do starts to build something that belongs to you, not just something that serves someone else's bottom line. Ownership comes in many forms: shares in companies, intellectual property, a piece of real estate, a digital product, a skill that generates freelance income. You do not need to be rich to start owning things. You need to start making different choices. Instead of working all day on everything, try this. Choose your most important task, set a timer for 3 hours, block all distractions, go deep on just that one thing. You will be shocked by how much more you produce in 3 focused hours than in 8 scattered ones. And when those 3 hours are done, you are done. You have done your most important work. Everything else in the day is secondary. This is not about being lazy. This is about being strategic with the most limited resource you have, your focused attention. The data is clear. High-impact focused work beats all-day busyness every single time. The people who understand this do not glorify being busy. They glorify doing the right things well and then protecting their time for what actually grows their life. Every great financial journey starts small. One seed, one share, one small step toward ownership. The size of the beginning does not matter nearly as much as the decision to begin and the patience to keep going. Over time, something remarkable happens. The small things you invested in and built start to grow without your constant intervention. The asset tree gets larger, the income becomes more reliable, and you start to feel what financial momentum actually feels like. Imagine watching passive income grow while the clock ticks, not because you are frantically working, but because a system you built is operating in the background. That is what financial leverage looks like in real life, and it is available to more people than most realize. Never stop learning. High-income skills are not optional extras. They are one of the most reliable engines of financial growth available to anyone. The knowledge you gain today can unlock income opportunities that your current role will never give you. It is time to say goodbye to the old rules, the rules that said effort alone guarantees reward, the rules that said working more hours is always the answer. Those rules served a different era, and holding on to them in today's economy is costing you.
A new day is possible, not one built on exhaustion and sacrifice alone, but on leverage, ownership, and clarity. The sunrise is real. The opportunity is real. All that is required is the willingness to see the path differently. The checklist is actually simple once you see it clearly. Own something, even something small. Learn a skill that scales beyond your hours. Invest early and consistently. 3 things. That is where the financial shift begins. The shift required is not from hard work to no work. It's from producing value for someone else's system to owning the systems that produce value. That one reframe changes everything about how you think about your time and energy. A small investment today, guided by patience and consistency, grows into something substantially larger over time. This is not magic. It's compound interest and ownership working exactly as they are designed to. You just have to start. The door to financial freedom is real. It is not locked. It is not reserved for a chosen few, but you do have to choose to walk through it, which means making different decisions today than the ones that have been keeping you stuck. Effort is the entry fee. It matters. It is required, but effort alone no longer guarantees the outcome. The differentiator now is where your effort is applied, in a capped system or in a scalable one. When you weigh time against systems, when you truly see that a system can scale beyond any single person's working hours, the rational choice becomes clear. Build the system, own the process, let leverage do what raw labor cannot. Your tools for building a different financial life already exist. Investments, skills, digital products. Each one can work alongside you or even instead of you on some days. Building a small portfolio of these tools is the foundation of real financial resilience. If this video opened up even one new idea for you, one small shift in how you think about your time, your work, and your money, then it has done exactly what it was meant to do. The upward trend is possible, and it starts with perspective. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It genuinely means a lot. If this hit home for you, please hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Subscribe for more real, honest conversations about money, time, and building a life that actually works for you. I'll see you in the next one.